What is up and how's it going? Welcome back to week 15 against the spread picks with the Noble Steady Sort of Sports Talk. My name is Tyler, your host, as always, here with Joey and our betting expert, Shane O'Mac. How's it going, guys?
What's up?
What's up, gentlemen?
How's it going? How's it going? We just hope you're tuning into this episode after watching our latest normal recap episode. We come to you as a recording on Thursday night, where we're going to have Thursday night football going on. We're going to give you our picks against the spread for every game this week, as well talk some other money subjects. And we'll just jump in right to there right now. Juan Soto got paid by the Mets. I mean, more money than Shohei. It shocked me. I mean, even the Yankees number was really high. Good on him, man. Good on him. What are y'all thoughts on the contract?
I think it's totally because of the fact that it's how he was treated outside of baseball. You know, it was his family getting turned down by security, not having his own suite in the stadium, and then like a lot of small things like that. I think were one of the reasons he wanted out. I'm shocked that he got this much, considering every contract before has been 1 year deal, 1 year deal, 1 year deal. Let's see if it happens for the Mets. Honestly, I know one thing: the Mets he has a opt-out clause in 2030.
It's the 5th year.
Yeah. So 2030 is his opt-out year, which he'd be leaving $460 million on the table. So, what do you think, Shane?
He bet on himself. He was offered 2 years ago, 15 years, $440 million. Bet on himself, almost doubled it. I think it's the nature of the fact that the Dodgers were going after him and were willing to spend money, so that jacked up the contract. And the Yankees, I'm not a fan of the Yankees. I know you guys are, but they wouldn't give Jeter or Judge their own suite. And to me, I get it. You can't give him his own suite if you didn't give those two guys.
No, especially Jeter.
Yeah, that cost him the player. So he's going to the Mets. He's going to a team where a lot of people don't. My brother's a huge Mets fan. They look good this year. Adding him into that lineup is going to make it. They're not done adding pieces. I think the Mets are going to be pretty serious in contention.
One thing I did notice is that they didn't do what the Dodgers do, and that's Bobby Bonilla their way through.
Zero deferred dollars.
I think because they keep getting made fun of for the Bobby Bonilla deal. Which I think when that contract is up, Soto will have 5 more years on the books. So,
I mean, look, the Dodgers are doing it to the tune of 48 or whatever, $58 million for 10 years. The Bobby Bonilla thing, I mean, it's $1.1 million.
Yeah, right. Like,
so
I think it's because of how bad he was in a Mets uniform is why it's such a hilarity. You know, if Shohei Ohtani just decides, hey, I'm going to retire, but you still got to pay me and they somehow figure out they have to pay him his money, then I would say all that money for one World Series, okay, okay, I guess, but at the end of the day, you're getting one as opposed to you could get 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you decide to retire, but I mean, I think they're hoping that a $700 million investment is going to be multiple World Series championships. At least that's the hope. I mean, if you're paying that much money for one, those things are expensive. But I think it's brilliant that he has that he has an opt out after 5 years. Because I mean, with the way it's going, if he keeps this up, especially at his age, he can cash in again.
Yeah,
I'd say
he might be using that. He might be using that as a man. If we really suck and we can't compete for a World Series, then
that too. I mean, it just gives you all the flexibility. I mean, the Mets are kind of over a barrel on this one. Like they put all their eggs in the Juan Soto basket. So we'll see how it works out for him. I mean, he was great for the Yankees. Appreciate everything he did for us this year, but sometimes it just doesn't work out.
I saw a breakdown where it's like he's going to make. You know how they do, like, if he's making this much money, it's this much per week, this much per day.
Are you talking about the McAfee thing where it was like 171,000 a second or something like that? Or
it was like $1,700 a second.
Yeah, 1,700 a second. That's what it
It's
was.
like, holy shit. My head would spin at that kind of money.
Yeah.
The Yankees are doing a good job. They got Christian Walker, who's he can
Yes.
smoke the ball, and then they're looking to get adding Cody Bellinger. They could be in play for Nolan Arenado, who's on the move.
I saw Bregman too.
I saw Bregman.
Also Bregman. So like, they're not, the Yankees aren't sitting down letting the across the town team just rake it in. So they're making moves, you know. So
if anything, it shows that the Yankees are like, okay, that's done. Let's go on about our business. And
yeah, they're adding solid pieces where a Walker, Bellinger, and either Arenado or Bregman makes them more deadly, I think, than just having Soto. So
yeah, definitely. Well, with that being said, let's jump into America, the new America's game, football here. And let's start with the Thursday night football game. Yeah, I had to throw that little jab in there. Rams at the 49ers. The 49ers are getting 3 points here, or the 3-point favorite, I should say. Over-under is 49.5. I'll start this one off since y'all kind of went the same way. I'm going to take the 49ers at 3. I think the line's actually moved to 2.5 now. I'll have to double check it. This was done the day before. But I'm going to say the 49ers at 3 and over 49.5. I think this is going to be a light show tonight. I really do. Both teams are fighting for their playoff lives here. Rams defense has shown they can't stop the run. That's what the 49ers do well. And they got torched last week against the pass on a short week. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fireworks. I will say I do like the safety coming back for the 49ers. I'm not even going to try to say his name. He played last week.
Tufunga.
Yeah, thank you. And he really brought a fierceness to the defense. It seemed like they're playing more downhill, more aggressive. So I do like that aspect, and I think the 49ers take it. Shane, where are you going with this one, buddy?
I am going strictly based on the fact that I need Kyron Williams and Tuca to go completely off tonight. So I am taking the Rams. Rams +3 and the over. I'm hoping this game finishes like 44-41.
Okay. Full disclosure, yes, I do need people to go off tonight too. I have Cooper Kupp, Juwan Jennings, and Brock Purdy all going tonight. So I'm heavily invested.
A lot of skin in the game tonight.
A lot of skin in the game.
So I'm not betting. I am not picking based on fantasy football. I am completely separating both. As you can tell, Shane and I or if you can't tell, me and Shane are playing each other this weekend in the first round of the playoffs. I took the Rams +3. They're playing for the NFC West, and San Francisco is playing for their season at this point.
Yeah.
If the Rams want to have an easier route, I'm sure they'd end up playing Seattle in the playoffs. If everything holds true, they don't want that matchup. So they're gonna play hard. They're gonna play tough. Matt Stafford's gonna be that game manager that he's been, especially the way they played against the Saints a couple weeks ago. So I took the Rams, and it's not going to be a big game. It's going to be a very defensive heavy game. That the guy you said, I couldn't even remember. I couldn't hear his name. Tafunga. Yeah, he's going to play lights out tonight. Jr. He's going to play lights out tonight. He's going to get at least a pick and keep the game low scoring.
Well, I like the fact that Joey's calling out picks predictions now. But also, I just want to know why you don't like fun.
Because I don't know. Like, it's just I look at the like.
No, I get it.
It's a divisional matchup. It's a Amazon Prime Thursday night football. So
that's what
aside from what was it last week? They had that one good game, or 2 weeks ago they had that one good game.
They've had some good ones. They've had some solid games.
I think just the way that Amazon Prime games have gone, they're due for a shit show, and this is Prime for one.
I gotcha.
You get my pun, primed for one?
No, I did. I see what you did there. So I think, okay. Well, let's move right along to the Commanders, who are a 7.5-point favorite going to New Orleans to face our Saints, and the over-under is 43.5. Shane, who you like and why?
I will continue to take the Saints to continue to hurt me and their draft stock until they prove me wrong.
I'm pretty sure last
So
week you did not pick the Saints, sir.
Uh,
No, I'm pretty sure he
I
did.
have to.
There was one week you didn't pick the Saints.
I'm not going against the Saints. Plus 7.5 at home. I just think that they'll at least cover, but unfortunately, I think they might win the game because they keep wanting to screw up their draft position. So they've won what 3 out of 4 since the new coach has taken over to continue to screw up their draft position. so that I'm going with them in the over. I think if they're going to cover, they're easily going to score 20 or 21 points. I think the Commanders can do the same.
So I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it yet, but we went deep dive into the Saints last episode that we just put up today, that we recorded yesterday about the game, about how the field flow and where they should go next. Definitely go listen to that. We're not gonna dive any more into it, but I would love to get your insight next episode on it. You know what? Hate to say it, I'm kind of where I was last week with them. I don't know where the offense comes from, and now that we don't have a quarterback because he tried to be Superman, and like I said, we talked about that last episode. I just think it's gonna be 7.5 with the Commanders. I think it's gonna be under. I don't see where we score, honestly, because if you look at the Giants game, I think they kind of gave the blueprint, right? Stack the line against the runs. If you stop the run, you got to have to force them to pass, and for whatever reason, we can't pass block this year. So you throw Hayner or Rattler behind that. I don't trust it. Under Commanders 7.5. That's the reason behind it. Joey,
are you telling me I should sit Kamara against Joey? Is that what you're telling me?
I would not have a bunch of faith about it, dude. I would not. He scares the crap out of me, honestly.
Who's that? Kamara?
I don't know how you have confidence, man. Like against the Giants, a team that had massive defensive injuries, we had 11 negative plays.
Right.
So, and you take Carr out and have deep ball out of it,
right,
I just don't trust it. It just me. Joey, where you at, buddy?
It's my heart is like agreeing with Shane that I'd want the Saints, but my brain is saying Washington's going to take it. They're coming off a bye.
Great point there.
They're well rested. The Saints had, I don't want to call it a war because maybe like a cripple fight against the Giants.
Jesus.
Washington's just going to dog walk them. It's minus 7.5. You could walk it to 9.
Woo.
And it's going to be under solely because I think that the Saints won't help the score get to 43.5.
So you think like a 2010
I say
game,
like
Joey?
20. I say like 28-6 kind of game.
It could happen.
Like it just, I don't have faith in any of the quarterbacks we have. Rattler had a chance in that one game. He had the entire line, but he was already beaten to death.
Yeah.
So, and then they signed DiNucci, which who knows what's going to happen with that. So
it sounds like a chain of pizza places. DiNucci's Pizza. It sounds like a chain of pizza places. DiNucci's Pizza.
Yeah, no, I just don't have faith in the Saints this week. It's too tough of an opponent. And hopefully it'll get to where, I doubt it, but if Atlanta and Tampa could take care of business and just kind of put us out of our misery so we don't have that like, oh, we can make it possibly, that would help us out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and also I'd like to point out, the Saints are technically still playing for a playoff spot, but the Commanders are actually playing for playoff seeding and playing for tangible, realistic goals here. So I don't think they're going to come in and take this lightly. They're going to want to come in, put their foot on our throat, and end this game quickly. I hate to say that. I feel like this can get out of hand like the Tennessee game did. So that's just how scared I am of this game. But anyway, moving right along to our next game. It's going to be Callahan's game, revenge game against his former team of the Bengals, where we have the Bengals, a 4.5 point favorite, going against the Titans. Over under of 46.5. A lot of us are in agreement of the Bengals 4.5, covering that 4.5. Me and Joey went with the over. Shane, you were the only contrarian going with the under. Let's hear what you're thinking on that one, bud.
I don't think Tennessee scores a lot of points. So I think the Bengals just coming off a rough matchup on Monday night. Might be a little beat up still, but I just think the Bengals might score 30, 35 points. I don't see the Titans scoring more than 10.
That's fair. That's
my
Joe,
process.
Yeah, no, I mean, completely fair. I mean, you got Mayo Man back there. The team not really playing for much. They're probably, I mean, you'd have to think they're kind of going to be looking at the quarterback market next year. But we'll see. Joe, what was your thinking on this game?
I mean, like Shane said, I don't have faith that the Titans can score points. I think the Bengals will take care of business. And get it to, when I look at over-unders, I look at what are the possible scores that could happen that are realistic. I can realistically think that this would be a 37-10 game to get you over that mark. But I mean, the Bengals won't have the help of Bart Simpson and Lisa and Ralph this week.
That's very
to get
true.
them over the edge. Mayo Man, I don't understand how he's still like. Is he the all they've got? Yeah. So
well,
they got Mason Rudolph, but
he looked good when he was in Mason Rudolph. I mean, I'm not saying he's great like their future, but he's moved the ball better with that team than Levis. The problem is that Levis came back, and I think they have to give that kid all the rope in the world to say, hey, we got to go forward with another quarterback. So they know that Rudolph's not their future, so they have to basically prove that Levis isn't either so they can draft another quarterback.
Exactly.
Because this was the coaching staff hasn't changed that drafted him.
No, it has.
Oh, it has. So honestly, in my opinion, if it has, they don't have to hold true to anybody. They could sit there and go, you were drafted by the last regime.
So very true on that one. I'm gonna sidetrack for just a quick second off this game. What is with teams like Chicago, Tennessee, Carolina, drafting rookie quarterbacks just to fire the coach in the first year? Like you have to look at history and know this is not how you develop a quarterback.
No one's done it better than Chicago.
Yeah, no, Chicago just doesn't seem to get it.
Yeah.
The problem is that quarterback development in this league doesn't exist anymore. You draft these players so high that you feel obligated that you have to play them. You don't have these quarterbacks sitting there and going behind. It doesn't matter if it's a Derek Carr or, we'll just say a Drew Brees. You put them behind somebody so they can see, hey, this is what I can and cannot do in this league. You don't have that anymore. Like, you're not sitting there because if you pick up a quarterback, then that veteran quarterback's like, well, they just signed my replacement. I might as well just start like planning my retirement now or planning my next move now, as opposed to, hey, listen, we are drafting this guy for our future so that when you either A, leave, or B, you retire, we'll have something to continue the success of this franchise. You don't have that kind of trust in this league anymore. Like, it's almost like, when Aaron Rodgers was drafted, Brett Favre felt like, oh, okay, so they drafted my replacement, and they wanted to force him out the door.
Well, this is also Brett Favre being like, I want to retire 45 times before they even draft Aaron Rodgers. So I'm sorry. He's just –
that's true.
I mean, Jordan Love.
That too, but –
at the end of the day, the Green Bay Packers are the only team that has done it right, though. They had Favre. They sat Rodgers. Then Rodgers came up. They might have pissed off Brett Favre, but they got rid of him. And then they drafted Jordan Love and sat him and let him learn. None of these guys are letting quarterbacks learn. They're just throwing them to the fire. The only one that's probably doing it right now, and it's crazy to me, is the Falcons. And the Falcons drafted Penix, and they're basically letting Cousins either that they're going to let him blow up in his face. Yeah, flame out. But they're not throwing him out there and then pulling Cousins, and then if he's not ready. So they're just letting him keep preparing.
That was part of the
So-
reason why when Derek Carr first got hurt this season, I was sitting there saying, just throw in Jake Hayner. It's going to suck. Do not put Spencer Rattler out there. You're going to ruin him. And everyone and their grandmother was like, oh, no, put in Rattler, put in Rattler, put in Rattler. And for some reason, they listened to him. And
Well, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, they knew what they had in Hayner. They didn't know what they had in Rattler. So I don't disagree with that move at that time, just because what the heck else are you going to do if he's the higher upside play? But the Chiefs are also a great example. They sat Patrick Mahomes for a year. It's all about the organization having a plan and having the fortitude to stick with that plan as long as stick with that plan if times get tough. Like, perfect example, you want to talk about the Falcons. Like, they could very easily just be like, all right, Kurt, you haven't thrown a touchdown in a month. You have 0 touchdowns, 8 picks over the last month. We're going to sit you down, man. It's just not working. We're going to put in a kid. You'll still get your money. No, they're not doing that because they realize once that move's made, you can't go back. Like, that is a permanent move to the quarterback. So, because it's all about confidence and everything like that. So, we'll see how all this plays out. I just wanted to talk about that, about development and everything. I thought the Anthony Richardson one is a kind of crazy example of it. That sounds like there was more stuff off the field, like maybe he wasn't doing, and losing respect of teammates and trust of the coaching staff. But it looks like he's getting it back. He's played better since he's come back off that benching. So, and look, also another player we'll talk about later, Bryce Young, playing pretty solid football right now.
Yeah.
So
he's starting to figure it out.
Yeah. So let's move on from this game to another game that, speaking of Bryce Young, let's talk about the quarterback that went right behind him as we talk about the Miami Dolphins going to the Houston Texans, who are a 2.5-point favorite, and the over-under is 46.5. Well, gentlemen, I went with the Dolphins and the under. I truly believe that the Dolphins are going to win this game 24-17. Houston just, something seems wrong. Something seems off. Like they can't pass block that well. They're kind of living and dying off that big plays with their wide receivers. And then Joe Mixon, I know, has found the fountain of youth, but you can't be one-dimensional going to the playoffs like this. So I truly believe Tua's looked good over the last few weeks. I know the Jets gave him a run for their money, and they had to go into overtime and everything. But hey, man, I just think the Dolphins have turned a corner. They're not playing somewhere cold, even though they're on the road. So I'm going to take the 2.5, and I'm going to take the under. Shane, who you got and why, big dog?
I'm also taking the Dolphins, but I'm taking it over. I think the Dolphins blow out the Texans. The Texans have looked horrible over the last 4 or 5 games. I think the Texans can still score a couple points, but I don't think they're going to win this track meet. I think the Dolphins are clicking, and I think they're starting to get healthy. So I just think that they're going to blow them out.
That's fair. Broseph?
Taking the Texans minus 2.5. They know it's at stake this week. They can clinch the AFC South if they win and Indy loses. So, you'd rather get that early. And then if you care about seeding, or if you don't care about seeding, then you sit there and just say, hey, you're banged up, you get some rest. You're banged up, you get some rest. Let's put some people out there just to kind of see what they can do for this run to see if we can make it to the Super Bowl. That's, yes, they're kind of starting to misfire a little bit, but you just win one game and that can change a lot. And this Dolphins team is good enough that if you beat that team, then you figured something out. And I think it will be a shootout. Like I said, Tua's playing really good. You got Tyreek. So I took the over.
Yeah, nice. All right, man. Well, moving right along, we're going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 4.5-point favorite on the road at the Dog Pound in Cleveland, facing the Browns, and the over/under is 43.5. I'm going to go first on this one again, and I'm going to take the Browns plus 4.5. I don't know what it is about Kansas City. They love one-score games. I'm just going to keep riding that trend until I get it's been right the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to keep riding that train, and I'm going to go with the under. I don't know. I just have a feeling on that one. That's probably what scares me more than the pick itself is the over-under. But y'all explain to me why y'all went with the Chiefs and the over.
I mean, It's the Chiefs. That's plain and simple. You know, the Browns to me, they have too much of that. You know, when things go right, they go kind of right. When things go wrong, they go way wrong. And that's especially under Jameis, where it's, you know, either touchdown or pick six. Take your pick. The thing that worries me about the Chiefs, if I had to pick anything, is that you're starting to notice that Patrick Mahomes is starting to get frustrated. He's starting to get flustered. He's yelling at the sideline. You know, Max Crosby basically ate him up a couple weeks ago, and that's never something that he likes. So it's going to be close.
Were you thinking more of a touchdown than?
Yeah, I think more touchdown than anything.
Yeah.
The Browns to me are just, you know, they don't have anything to play for now. They're eliminated. They're looking for maybe a draft pick. So I'm not saying they'll tank, but if something goes wrong, they're not going to be mad.
All right. That's fair enough. Shane O'Mac, what you got, buddy?
I think the Chiefs got to keep winning to try to get that bye. I think Steve Spagnuolo is a good defensive mind, and he'll have something in place for Jameis. The Chiefs haven't won handedly yet. They haven't played their best football. It's coming. They're too good of a team to not do it. I almost changed my pick because I don't know if you guys saw Mahomes was like criticizing the league today, which he normally doesn't do because he's playing 3 games in 11 days. So the league might pull his support from the refs, but I still think they're heavily invested in that team getting at least deep into the playoffs. But I just think that potentially that this game's going to be, like Joey said, I think they'll win. I think they'll get it together maybe this week and win by more than a touchdown. The Browns have nothing to play for. You know, I don't know if you guys noticed, there's like 6 teams or 7 teams that are eliminated from the playoffs. There's only 1 in the NFC, and there's 6, I think, or 5 in the
I was
AFC.
just looking at that.
5?
Yeah.
I want to say
There's 6. There's
6?
6.
Is it 6? Okay.
Yeah, the Raiders, let me say that again. My Boston came out a little bit. Raiders, Pats, Titans, Jets, Jags, and Browns on the AFC side, and the lowly
Giants.
New York Giants on the NFC side. Now,
So,
I will
which is
say,
crazy to me because the Panthers at 3-10 still apparently have some scenario where they can get in the playoffs.
That's hilarious.
I'm looking at that. I think it's because they have a shot at the NFC South,
right?
Technically, because Atlanta is 6-7, leading the South.
Yeah,
and
we're what?
No, I lied.
Tampa.
The Tampa is 7-6, leading the South.
They're 6-7,
and
they're 5-8,
4th in the conference standings for the playoffs. Yeah. Sorry, I'm in like baseball and basketball mode where I'm looking at 3 divisions, not 4.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was like, okay, Detroit, Philly,
gotcha.
Seattle, that's 3. Boom, that's done. So, but yeah, no, Tampa's leading it. They're 7-6. Carolina's 3-10. So there's a realistic chance that they could still overtake them.
Whoa. Realistic is a strong word there.
Okay.
There's a mathematic possibility.
Mathematic. Yeah, that's what I meant. Mathematic, not realistic. I mean, I don't know. Carolina's, like we said, they figured it out. Maybe they could get lucky. And Tampa just shit the bed.
Look, I love a good story, but for the amount of like stuff that would have to happen, there's just no shot. No shot. But speaking of the Panthers, I'm glad it's a nice little segue here. Next game we're going to talk about is the Cowboys at the Panthers, who are actually a favorite, a 2.5-point favorite with an over-under of 42.5. Broseph, did you mean to put Cowboys -2.5 or +2.5?
I meant plus.
Okay. So y'all two are in agreement with the Cowboys at +2.5 and the over.
I think what's going to happen though is somehow they're going to block a field goal that Carolina goes for to win the game, and then they're going to go to pick it up, and they're going to fumble it Leon Lett style. A Panther's going to pick it up, scoop and score, and that's going to be the end of the game, and the Panthers are going to win.
By less than 2, though?
No, I just think that's how shitty of luck Dallas has. Like, that's
Or are you just trying to make a joke about how they?
I was making a
messed up
joke
the game?
how they messed up a punt.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. The Leon Lett thing just kind of reared its ugly head. And if I remember correctly, Leon Lett had back-to-back. So no, he had one in the Super Bowl, and the other was Thanksgiving. So
no, yeah.
I think there will be a special teams
A gap.
mess up in this. Yeah.
The
Cowboys.
I'm
the Cowboys are
assuming-
going to lose by. Yeah, the Cowboys are going to win. They're embarrassed from last week. They want to take care of business. What better team to do it than the Panthers? And at the Panther Stadium. So that's really who I'm picking and why I'm picking them. It's because they're embarrassed and they want to beat them.
All right, Shino, what you got?
I just think the Cowboys, as good as Bryce Young's playing, I think the Cowboys will edge them out with the offensive and defensive talent they have. I think they're going to have to, I don't know, have a players meeting or, just try to finish out the year strong. So I just think that it's going to be pretty high scoring, more than 21 points each. I could see this game going like 28, 31, something like that. But I think the Cowboys will edge them out.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually going to go with the Panthers on this one. Their offensive line, surprisingly, has played a lot better recently on this little run they're on. I mean, look, we're one Xavier Legette drop away from talking about them beating the Eagles last week. So
True.
I'm gonna take the Panthers. I'm gonna take the over. I don't think Dallas has much to play for. I don't think they're a very close team right now. And yeah, I think the Panthers are on a roll. Give me the 2.5 and the over on that one. So let's talk about one of the best games on the slate next. And that's going to be the New York Jets, who are 4.5-point favorite, going to face the mighty Mac Jones-led Jaguars. And the over-under is a whopping 40.5. I'm going to save you trouble. I picked the Jets to cover 4.5 and the under because, I don't know, somebody's got to win, right? But I could totally see this being a 10-6 game and the Jags cover. So who knows? I just don't know. Both teams are an absolute dumpster fire. Breece Hall is questionable. Who cares?
Do you remember what I said the Saints and Giants game was last week?
No, I don't remember that.
Do I need to say it again? That's this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's this week. I took the Jags plus 4.5. I don't even think they'll score a touchdown in this game, either team. I think it's going to be probably like a 12-10 score. And yeah, that's why it's under. I mean, there's no good thing going on with either of these teams. Like maybe the fact that the Jags will more than likely go to London again next year and they'll get excited about that. But that's about it.
It's fair. Shane, where you at on this one, buddy?
Jets covering under. Jets defense outscores the Jags.
Put on the board.
Yeah.
I think that's all we need to say about this game, gentlemen. Nothing really to talk about here. Next.
Yeah.
So let's move on to another game that's actually has some playoff implications here. We have the Indianapolis Colts going to Denver to face the Broncos, who are a 4-point favorite in this game at time of recording, and the over-under is 44.5. I think this is going to be a fun game. I'm going to take the Broncos to cover and the over. I expect probably a big game from the running backs in Denver. The Colts have been a little leaky against the run, but you can't pick against Bo Nix, man. The dude, he has looked great. Sean Payton looks like he's figured it out with them. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to take Bo Nix and the Broncos and the over. Joe, I see you agree with me. Where's your thought process on this one, buddy?
I think Sean Payton and Bo Nix have it figured out. It's going to be tough for the Colts to travel to Denver and just play in that climate. The Colts to me haven't really shown a lot in their 6-7 record. I feel like they just have too many things going on within that franchise. Like you said, the Anthony Richardson thing kind of threw them for a loop. And, to me, it shook my confidence in that team. But, Denver's fighting for a playoff spot. Right now, they're 7th. So,
yeah, I mean, the Colts are right there nipping.
They've got to win. So. They've got to win 2 games to at least guarantee it to me. So, this is one of them.
That's very fair. Shane, you went the opposite of us with the Colts. What you think behind that, buddy?
I mean, if you think Bo Nix and Sean Payton have it figured out by fighting on the sidelines every game, then y'all's definition of cohesiveness is a little bit different than mine. But I think that
Darren Rizzi yelled at the punter last week, so
yeah, the Saints are a dumpster fire of a team. So if we're going to compare Denver to the Saints, but I took the Colts because I think this game can be the Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson can run all over that team, control the clock, and I think that the Colts defense could come up with some plays against Nix. He's still making rookie mistakes. He looks better than everybody thought he would, but I think we're giving him a little too much credit. Him and Sean Payton fighting on the sidelines isn't a good look, and they've done it 2 or 3 games at least.
See, I look at that, and yeah, Sean Payton's a little ornery, but you can't argue with the results, right? Like, they are winning, they are competitive in the games. Look, they took Chiefs to the wire. But who doesn't nowadays? They just find a way to win. But I just like the way they're looking. Yeah, the argument on side's not great, but I don't take it as a huge. I take it more as a learning kind of thing, right? Like as a heat of the moment, that kind of thing. I don't think there's any kind of animosity there. But anyway,
I mean, Sean Payton yelled at everybody.
Yeah.
Well, he's a douche. So,
yeah.
I mean, he just was our douche when he coached here. So, I have no love for him besides the fact that he coached a team that won a Super Bowl. I think he was a dick most of the time he was here, and he's pretty much a dick anywhere else he is. So, his team will perform, but they always have these games where they look past the opponent, and this to me seems like a game. And I feel like he's going to look past the Colts, and I think that team can just run all over them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you on that one. But, I do disagree with you, but I just don't – I can definitely see that happening. Is what I mean to say.
I agree, but I disagree.
No, basically, like, I can definitely see what he's saying happening, but
yeah,
I think it's going to go the other way. Anyway, moving right along, we have the Patriots going to Arizona to face the Cardinals, who are a 6.5-point favorite with an over-under of 46.5. I'll take this one. I'm going to go with the Cards, the cover, the 6.5, and under. Thinking is, I just don't know if the Patriots score enough to get this over, over the over. So that's my thinking behind it. I think Drake May has shown some, I guess, some moxie. Not sound like a 1950s gangster, but he's shown some growth. He's shown that he can compete in this league. The team just needs to get pieces around him. He's just not there yet. And I'm going to say, usually after a kind of game, Kyler Murray comes out firing. So I think they're going to be looking to make a statement this game. Shane, who you got?
I'm with you. Cards in the under. I mean, I do like Drake May. He doesn't have a lot of receiving options. They're just very inconsistent. The Cardinals have been treating me wrong this year in fantasy, so it's tough because you don't know what team's showing up. But I do think they're going to bounce back. But I don't see the Patriots scoring a lot of points, so I went with the under.
Okay. Corrosive when you get yourself together, buddy dog.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It's great timing.
No, yeah, of course. Shout out to, while we talk about the Patriots, shout out to the University of North Carolina for getting their guy, Bill Belichick, to become their head coach. A lacrosse guy becomes a head coach. Definitely the Cards are going to take over. The Patriots just, like I said, they have nothing to play for now. If anything, we'll see what they got, build for next year. The pieces are not there for Drake May to be as successful as he could be. But I think, the Cards want to make that playoff run. They want to be the champions of their division. They have to win every game they can because it's a very tight division. So, and the Rams are nipping at their heels. So I took the Cards minus 6.5, and I take the over. I think this could go one of two ways. It could be a 24-24 kind of game where it's close, or it could be a blowout for the Cardinals, but win by a touchdown.
Okay.
The close game, win by a touchdown kind of thing.
I gotcha. All right. So let's move on to the next game. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going across coast to the LA Chargers, who are a 3-point favorite with an over-under of 45.5. I see me and Shane went with the Bucks +3 and the over. It's just a style of game that the Chargers like to play. They want to slow it down. I think the Bucks can actually probably win this game. It's going to be a dogfight, and I see some points, but I like Herbert in this game, and I like Baker Mayfield. Basically, both quarterbacks to do their thing. Shane, what's your thoughts behind this?
I totally agree. I think the Bucks play too up tempo for the Chargers, and where unless the Chargers defense can figure out a way to get a couple takeaways, I just think that the Bucks are gonna run all over them. I don't think the Chargers. I like what they're doing this year, but I don't know if the Chargers can keep up with the Bucks.
Fair enough, Joey, our contrarian. What you got, buddy?
I think it's the Chargers at home is going to be the difference. Having to travel from the East Coast to the West Coast. I also think that the Chargers give up. The Bucks give up some games that they shouldn't, and this is one of those games. They've had the y'all distracted me with the message.
Sorry,
you're good.
Sorry.
It's the Bucks. Just to me, just are that team that they're good enough to blow out teams that they have blown out, but they're also that team that could take those games that they should win and lose easily.
Okay.
It'll be a shootout. It'll be back and forth. But then the Chargers will pull ahead in the third and fourth quarter and hit the over. So Chargers -3 and the over.
Fair enough. All right, Joey, that's some sound reasoning right there, and I'm sorry for distracting you.
Yeah,
this game brought up a good fact that we actually skipped the game.
I was legit about to message y'all and be like, "Hey, we have to go back to this."
Yeah. No,
and then
that's my fault.
I noticed on our show sheet that for those who don't see, we have it on the computer screen, so we're typing it out as we go. And I was like trying to read it, and my brain's like, keep talking, stupid.
So that's my apologies. Y'all can blame it on the host here. Let's go back, and this could be a fun one to talk about, right? These are the largest spread in the NFL season so far. We have the Baltimore Ravens going to New York, and Baltimore is a 16.5-point favorite. All right, I'll start this one off. I have no confidence in the Giants whatsoever. What I do have a confidence in is something wacky happening and a field goal at the end of the game to backdoor cover. So I'm going to take the Giants at +16.5. The over-under is strictly just believing that the Ravens can get it high enough. And that's all I got. This game doesn't feel right. It's weird to pick a 16.5-point spread in the NFL, but I'm going with the Giants and over. Shane, what was kind of your thinking on this one, buddy?
Yeah, man, it's a lot of points. I obviously think if I feel like the Giants can cover that, they score enough to cover the over, because I still think the Ravens are going to handily win this. I would be curious to see, because Joey went with the Ravens -16.5. Is he confident enough to walk that up any, or is it just he feels the Ravens are going to blow them out? Because I was torn on this game, because I feel like it's either like they'll cover it, or I think the Ravens might beat them by like 28.
Joe, before you jump in, I just want to my thinking behind that was I was with y'all. I mean, dude, I could totally see the Ravens covering this, but I just think that we also could see a game where they get up big and they just take their foot off the brake, right? I mean, foot off the gas, and it just becomes Derrick Henry chewing that clock a little bit. And I mean, look at the last game that the Giants had against us. Like, it felt like we were dominating the entire game, and all of a sudden they made it real close at the end. So I just think 16.5 is just too much. But Joey, the floor is yours, my friend.
Give me Lamar Jackson and King Henry to beat the Giants. I would have walked this up to a little more. But as a safety net, I kept it at 16.5, which is weird to say in the NFL.
Yeah, safety net at 16.
Yeah, I kept it there because, like you said, something wacky could happen. But I just think that, like that banner that flew over MetLife Stadium, they're a dumpster fire. There's not an easy fix to this, and the Ravens coming off of a bye is definitely going to help them in the long run. So it's going to be a blowout. I would almost call it 42 just for the Ravens and a field goal for the Giants at best. It's not going to be pretty. Drew Lock's not going to do a lot. They're going to cover Malik Neighbors. Lock's not playing. Okay.
It's DeVito.
DeVito's going to do just as bad. There's no real difference in between these two right here. So, Ravens minus 16.5. I could have walked it up, but I kept the safety net.
Let me ask you, did you check the forecast, though?
What's up?
Did you check the forecast?
I can.
No, it's okay. But, Shane, what were you going to say?
I'm going to make a bet for the pod, and here's the question. How many points do we want to walk this up?
28.5.
Joey?
Ooh, that's tempting.
I'm on the same page as Tyler. I was thinking 28.5.
That's my guess. Like, I want to say 28.5.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. I
want to see these odds.
We're gonna walk this up. But I'm gonna keep the show moving kind of long.
I'm looking up
because
we're getting a little long in the. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it moving along. We're getting a little long in the tooth here, gentlemen. But it's okay. An interesting game for the afternoon slate. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers going on the road to Philadelphia in the Battle of Pennsylvania, where the Eagles are a 5.5-point favorite with an over/under of 42.5. I went with the Steelers plus 5.5 and the over. I think the Steelers can actually win this outright. I don't like this matchup for the Eagles that much. I just don't know. It depends if I just feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be able to stop the run. I know they've been a little leaky lately, but the passing game for the Eagles isn't super complex, right? So it really comes off that running game. So give me the Steelers plus 5.5 and the over. It's going to be a fun game, though. Joey, I see you kind of agree with me there. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the fact that the Steelers are playing very well, as in like they're competing for
the number one seed.
The number one seed. No one thought that. I think we're hitting that point now where the Eagles are going to start to struggle a little bit, and it's not going to be struggle in the sense of they're going to get blown out. It's going to be Hurts is going to be holding onto the ball a little too long, or that defensive line's going to get to him quick. The only thing that is good for the Eagles right now is that on the injury report, George Pickens was listed as questionable, but he's out.
He's out again.
Okay, well, the one I'm looking at says questionable, so
I'm pretty sure they rolled him out today.
The thing that killed the Saints against the Eagles is Dallas Goedert. He's on IR. So I'm picking the Steelers. I just feel like they're the team to beat right now in Pennsylvania. Something about Philly to me just always seemed like I don't know what it is about Philly. I just look at them and it's just I don't see, like, they are a contender. I just don't see it. I don't know why.
Well, I'll pass it on to Shane, but I'm gonna agree to disagree on that one. I think the Eagles have looked at like one of the best teams. Now they stumbled last week. I'll give you that one. It's just they're very run dependent. That's where I don't like the matchup here for them. But Shane, what you got, buddy?
I think with all the calling everybody out this week, I think you either respond or you nosedive. I think they have too much talent on the team. I think big game for AJ Brown. I think they're going to make a point to show that they're on the same page. They've built too much talent in that roster. What I will say about the Steelers is shout out to Mike Tomlin for dealing with another problem player for years and then trading him just for him to show his ass like Deontay Johnson did. Because he's done it with Le'Veon Bell. He's done with Antonio Brown. He gets the best out of these players, and then when they're finally too much to handle, he ships them off quietly, and then they just nosedive. So, but I have I think the Eagles are going to cover, and I think it's going to be over, but I think they respond to just a bad week of turmoil.
Nice. All right. So, moving right along to another big game. Man, we got some good games in the afternoon and night slates. We have the Buffalo Bills on the road going to Detroit to play the Detroit Lions, who are a 2.5-point favorite. Joey, who you got and why, buddy?
Potential Super Bowl matchup in the regular season.
I hope so.
So that typically means that it's going to be a score fest. I mean, listen, as much as I want to see Bills Mafia have a good time and celebrate a Super Bowl, I think this is Detroit's year. And I think this is Detroit's year, the full year. You know, they got lucky Thanksgiving that Chicago forgot how to tell time. That's not going to happen against Buffalo. But, you know, and then the game after that, you play the Packers in a divisional matchup. It's going to be tight. I think this is a week that it's like, okay, time to take care of business. And they're going to win the game. It won't be a blowout. It'll be close, but it'll be one of those ones where the Bills will not look weak in the loss. They'll still look strong, but I'm taking the Lions -2.5 and the over.
All right. Yeah, I mean, me and Shane are in agreement with you with the 2.5 and the over. I think we're both in agreement that the Bills' defense is susceptible to giving up big runs in the running game. So I don't think there's that much more we have to go into, Shane. Is there anything more you want to add?
No, I think it's a different game if it's at home for the Bills, but being in the Dome, I think the Lions just have too much firepower. I think it'll be a fun game, but I think the Lions are just going to be able to outpace them.
Fair enough. Moving on to our night game, we have the Green Bay Packers as a road favorite at 2.5 on the road against the Seattle Seahawks with an over/under of 46.5. I'm going with Seattle here. They're playing inspired football right now, and I think the edge is that they're going to playing at home. Jordan Love's going to make playing at home. The Seahawks are going to force a crucial interception from Jordan Love. Shane, where are you at on that one, buddy?
I totally agree with you. I think it's tough to play in Seattle. Green Bay's been a little inconsistent. So while I still think it's a pretty high scoring game, I think Seahawks have just been playing a little bit better. They get Kenneth Walker back, I think, this week, even though Zach Charbonnet look great. So I still think Seahawks win this game just because of the home field advantage.
Fair enough. Joey, where you at, buddy?
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with y'all on that one. I think the Packers are going to win this game. They have something to play for. They're going for the playoffs, and it's, coming down to the wire. They have a scenario where they can clinch the playoffs this week, and you need the 49ers and Rams to tie tonight, which isn't totally impossible. It's definitely improbable, but they want to control their own destiny, and the way you do that is win games. And so they're going to go into Seattle, take care of business. And I think, honestly, that game's going to play out a little different than we think. I think it'll be Seattle will kind of come out hot, and then Green Bay is going to basically come back and win it.
Yeah, you'd see that happen. I mean, 2.5, it gives a lot of different possible outcomes. But so then we got two Monday night games, gentlemen. Let's start with the first one. There's not much to talk about here, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm actually probably going to skip over it. We have the Bears and going on the road to the Vikings, who are a 7-point favorite in an over/under of 44.5. We have consensus here, gentlemen. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it. Vikings 7, we all took that in the over. Bears are dumpster fire. Vikings are on a roll. Let's go to the final Monday night game.
Just before you go, just to add to that Vikings game, if the Rams win tonight and Seattle wins, the Vikings have to win and they clinch a playoff spot.
Gotcha.
So,
okay. Yeah, they do have a playoff.
There's plenty of things that could happen before their game, but if those things don't happen, the Vikings win and they're in.
Gotcha. All right. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. In our final game, we have the Falcons going on the road as a 3.5-point favorite to Las Vegas to play the Raiders in an over/under of 44.5. I'm taking the Falcons. I don't have a lot of faith. I'm just taking them to win by 7, and I'm taking the under just because I don't think either one of these teams are very good. I think they're going to lean on the run and just run all over the Raiders. Shane, where you at on this one, buddy?
Same thing. Not a very exciting game. Not a very exciting lineup for both games. But Falcons have the better roster, right? They have the better talent. I still think they can score over 23 points each. It could be a 24-28 game, but I always root for the over. I love the action, but I still think the Falcons win.
Fair enough. Broseph, I see me and you kind of agreed there, buddy.
I think the Falcons win as well.
Yeah.
I don't think a passing touchdown happens.
You got the streak going on?
Yeah, the streak is going to continue for Kirk Cousins. And I mean, you'll have touchdowns. Brian Robinson will score a touchdown. But that's about it. It's going to be a close game, but it's going to be a close nothing game.
Wait, you mean Bijan?
Yeah, I don't know why. I read anytime I saw Brian Robinson at the bottom, and I'm just like, for some reason that clicked in my head. Bijan's going to score. But that's about all that's going to be for the Falcons. They're going to take care of business, but it's not going to be a fun game to watch. And honestly, I think if ESPN had the power, they'd have flexed both of these games out.
Probably so. So let's wrap everything up, guys. Anytime touchdown scores, for me, I have Pat Fryermuth. With George Pickens being out, he's going to be the top target there. Brian Robinson Jr., they just got to get down to the 1-yard line. They don't do the tush push. They just give it down. They just give it to him. I think the Commanders going to score a lot. Shane, where were you going on your touchdown picks?
I think Jonnu Smith in a high-scoring game for the Dolphins. He's been hot. I think he stays hot. And CeeDee Lamb going against the Panthers, I still think he scores. I think they're going to keep trying to feed him the ball. So I went with those two guys.
That's fair. And Joey, wrap it up. Finish us off with your touchdown scores.
I think Joe Mixon's going to get in for the Texans. It's going to be a, whatever in goal, and they're going to give him the ball, and he's just going to mow people down to get to the end zone at some point in that game. And then my other one, Marvin Harrison Jr. That's going to be a back and forth. The Cardinals are going to take care of business as usual.
Yeah, and I think they're just going to make a point to get him the ball. But
yeah.
Well, look, gentlemen, that wraps it up for another great episode of the Against the Spread.
I'm putting this one in for us right now. So
sweet. We'll keep everybody posted on that one. Just be on the lookout. We'll be back next week with another Against the Spread episode and another recap show. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Give us a like on Spotify if you're listening there. But until then, be good, gentlemen. I will see y'all next time. Peace.